Welcome back to Hotel Interactive Radio. This is Glenn Haussman, Editor-in-Chief of the one and only Hotel Interactive Network, coming at you from Vitac Purchasing and Design West here at the Hotel del Coronado. I have with me, as usual, Mr. Mark Viola. How are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. How are you today?
And I have with us Kristine Smith, who I'm very happy to say is with KS Design Studios. She's a principal there, and why we have her today is because she's participating in HI Connect Design 2014. How are you?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Thank you.
Now, for those of you out there who do not know what HI Connect Design is, it's going only to be the greatest event ever taking place in the history of mankind. No hyperbole. I absolutely mean it. And that's going to be taking place April 2nd through 4th in Nashville, Tennessee at the Gaylord. And we are doing a great series speaking with the architects, designers, and purchasing pros all taking part in it. And I have Kristine with us today because you are doing a timeshare vignette with us, yes?
I am indeed.
Now, before we get involved in talking about, timeshare and all the nuances that you have to worry about that, I want to know a little bit about you. When did you first realize that design was the way your life was going to go?
Oh, well, pretty early on, probably college, I would say. I was always interested in the arts and decided if I wanted to make a living, I should probably do something besides fine art. So fashion was out because I didn't draw figures very well, so I sort of steered toward interior design and never looked back.
So you can't draw figures, but you can do interior design. Now, I can't do either, so I assume they're both equally difficult. How are you able to do one and not the other?
Just luck, I suppose.
Right.
I don't know.
We're going to say good genes, and you've got lots of them in your family, as we were talking about beforehand, right? All right, so tell us a little bit about, what was your first experiences with design like? Did you just start sketching ideas at home, or what happened? What was that big epiphany moment for you?
Well, UCLA was my educational experience, and I just feel like I got a great background in conceptual design, and right out of school, went to work for an architectural firm, William Pereira in Los Angeles, and they had a division of their interiors department that specialized in resort hotels. I had my first taste of hospitality and never looked back again.
I could totally understand that, Mark, right? I mean, this is a great business.
Yeah, we feel the same way. I'm hooked. The minute I got into it, I was hooked. So.
Right, so you couldn't have obviously just gone into timeshare right away. So what was your path that led you there?
My background has really been in hospitality, and I've worked primarily for smaller ownerships. I've done some big chain work for Hyatt and Hilton, but I seem to have found my niche with individual property owners, small groups. Here in San Diego, Evans Hotels, they own the Lodge at Torrey Pines, the Bahia, and the Catamaran. I've done work for them for over 20 years. So that's kind of been my niche in terms of hospitality. I did some work for Disney over the years, and that was sort of my first exposure to the timeshare market.
Interesting. Oh, so you were working with the Disney Vacation Club then?
Correct.
Which properties did you have an active role in?
The Grand Californian.
Oh.
Their first project on the West Coast.
Right.
Best. Love that place.
Right. Now, to fill the listeners in a little bit, when Disneyland went through a massive expansion to add the California Adventure Park, they added that hotel with the timeshare component, which was so successful they've since expanded it, as a matter of fact.
Well, the timeshare component actually was an addition
that
took place about 5 years ago. They built the timeshares and then some additional guest rooms.
All right, so you're thinking about timeshare, you do this timeshare design. What have you seen change in timeshare design from the time you first got into business until now?
Well, it's like the hospitality market. You continue to evolve, based on what your guest's expectation is. And guests are becoming more and more sophisticated all the time, and they're more demanding. So I think the industry is constantly trying to keep up and meet the guest expectations.
Okay, so how does that play out then in a guest room?
Good question.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Glenn.
That is why I'm here to ask the controversial questions.
To stump the designer.
Right.
Is that the goal?
That's actually a game show that I'm going to be putting out in the winter.
Awesome.
So
I'd like not to be a contestant. Thank you.
Boy.
Yeah,
oh boy.
Sadly, it's going to be on CNBC, not the game show network. Or I should say C-SPAN. That would have been much funnier. I didn't think of that right away. All right, so I recall when I was a kid, timeshare seemed very, very basic. They almost seemed very much like a blah apartment, right? Didn't really have any furnishings or fixtures that really resonated with me as a person. All right, maybe I was 8 years old and I had no taste. Now I'm in my 40s and have no taste. But I see at the same time, I see that's thank you, Mark. At the same time, I see that it's really elevated, and some of the timeshare properties I've had the opportunity to stay in are very, very different today. So how do you see it?
Well, I think it's important, whether it's a hospitality project or a timeshare project, to create a sense of place. I mean, to not create the same environment in, Bali that you would create in Chicago, to draw on the local culture, the local art, the local, attributes of a given area, and let that play a role in the design. I've always been a proponent of, giving a project a sense of place.
Right, and Mark, you agree with that, right?
Absolutely. Going back to your Disney project, the Grand Californian, I think Disney does it best as far as the extended stay goes, as far as the vacation ownership goes. Their famous slogan is, "It's your home away from home."
Welcome
and
home.
It really, welcome home. It really feels that way. They do such a great job at that. So, kudos to you. Nice job.
Well, and their properties all typically have a theme. And I found that I work best when I have something like that to draw from, whether it's we did some theme suites for Disney at the Disneyland Hotel. So, Big Thunder Mountain. When you have a theme, you tend to have something that helps you answer the questions and solve the problems. You're not just picking things because, maybe they're nice or they're new or they're pretty. You're making decisions based on, the theme. So whether it's an architectural style or a location, a destination, it gives you sort of a sense of purpose.
I like the idea of theming, but I feel like we've gone through this cycle where we had really, really hyper theming, and now it's kind of been toned down a lot. You see that playing out in places like Las Vegas, and I do see it in Disney a little bit lighter touch from time to time. So where is that happy medium for you?
I gotta say, I think it depends on the location as far as if it needs to be themed. I don't think it's toned down at all. I think if you're going to Disney, it's going to be themed, but Vegas maybe not so much, or LA maybe not so much. So it depends. But if you're in Orlando, of course you're going to get themed hotels.
Right. And the Grand Californian was, it was an architectural theme. I mean, it was the arts and crafts era that created the, much like the Lodge at Torrey Pines. Those two properties, it's kind of interesting, they sort of came up out of the ground around the same time.
Right.
So it was an interesting perspective because I was working on the Lodge, and we actually toured the Grand Californian as it was, under construction. So
they did a great
while
job.
they're, fiberglass beams at the Lodge at Torrey Pines, ours are real good.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was not
There was no snob appeal.
No, it was not a cheaply made building. That's for sure.
No, but it's just it's the whole Disney magic kind of mentality. So.
Yeah, it's really fantastic, and Disney Timeshare continues to be so strong. They're just completing the property right now. The Aulani is beautiful, but I was saying at the hotel created to look like the Hotel Del Coronado, where we're looking at, the Grand Floridian, Hotel,
yes.
and they've just broken ground on Polynesian Resort one as well. So lots more timeshare to come. But timeshare is great and all, but I want to know where do you get inspiration from? Where do you figure it out? Is it from other hotels, or is it just walking down the street and seeing something?
Well, I'm a big believer in form follows function. Nothing irritates me more than something that's it's a great design, but it doesn't function well. I really, work best when there's, something that sort of is at the core of the project and sort of leads you to, making design decisions along the way.
Well, now I know that you don't really want to reveal what you're going to be doing for HI Connect Design 2014, coming to Gaylord Opryland, April 2nd through 4th in Nashville, Tennessee. But when you're putting together this project, what are some of the things that are the real hallmarks that you want to touch on?
Well, here again, our intent is to place our timeshare someplace other than Chicago.
Right, Bali, perhaps?
Maybe, just maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Yet to be seen.
Yep. All right. So then what I'm going to say is you're going to find a location and then kind of create a space that will make that location come alive through the fixtures and furnishing.
Right. Exactly.
Great. Anything else that you would like to share with us?
No, thank you for this opportunity. I'm very appreciative.
Well, thank you, Kristine. And make sure that you register to come to HI Connect Design 2014. Go to hiconnectdesign.com to learn all about it. And I want to thank Mark Viola for being here today.
Thank you, Glenn.
And our wonderful guest, Kristine Smith. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
And we will be
Kristine,
back.
appreciate it.
We will be back again next time on Hotel Interactive Radio. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.